Hey everybody, Jay Schlansky here from the Fifth Trooper Network. I just want to take a moment to thank you for checking out this show. Did you know that over at thefifthtrooper.com we have tons of other content, including blogs, other podcasts, all kinds of stuff. In addition, if you want access to exclusive content, you can join us on patreon.com/thefifthtrooper and join at any level and you'll get access to exclusive blog articles, access to our private Discord, and much more. So please check us out, and thank you so much for all your support.
Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome back to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Mike and Jay. What's up?
Whoa! What's going on here?
It's me, Jay. I'm back, baby.
The Jay Schlansky himself. How you been?
I've been good. I've been on a little bit of a sabbatical from content, but I'm still doing two of the podcasts. We've got Iron and Tentacles, which is our Cthulhu podcast, which has been a ton of fun. And then I've been doing the WTFMCP on the YouTube, which is me and Tim from the Professional Casuals explaining Marvel Crisis Protocol to new players. But those have been fun. Yeah, I had to give Legion a little. Me and Legion needed some space, just for a little bit. So I'm circling back. I'm feeling good. I'm coming back, I think. We'll see. But here's my first step into it. If you guys can convince me.
Well,
Hey.
you're here now,
Wow,
so I'm.
that's a big ask.
Oh, yeah. It's no pressure.
No pressure.
All right. Well, today we're going to talk. We're going to get some takes from Jay because Jay's here, so we're going to get some Jay takes. But
Yeah.
first, Jay, I think you got some product announcements and stuff for us, right?
Yeah. So the big reason I'm on today is to talk about a little bit of a team up that I was gonna say the Fifth Trooper, but it's not really the Fifth Trooper. It's me. But yeah, I mean,
Well, you are the Fifth Trooper, Jay.
we're all the
Literally
Fifth
your Discord
Trooper.
handle. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but so for those of the who've been with us for a long time, you know that we've done mats. We still have some 3x3 mats in our store right now. We do our sidebars and all that stuff. Well, the people who printed our last run of our 3x3 mats and our sidebars is a game company called Game Toppers. They're an amazing company, and they do these, which we're going to show them here in a second. But they basically do these table toppers that you could put on like your kitchen table to make it a 6x4 or a 6x3 playing space. So you could take any table, make it into a playing space for Legion, and then it can actually all be packed away in like a carry bag and stored somewhere. Um, and so they do mats too. They do incredible mats and prints and stuff. And I've done a few designs for them in the past, but now we're doing a Kickstarter here in a couple weeks. And basically, Game Toppers is doing the Kickstarter, and I've done a ton of design work for it. So we've got new mats, and we're doing these new neoprene terrain packs that I can talk about. And then also, I designed these really cool railings for their table toppers, and so this is this Kickstarter that's taking place in a week on July 23rd is called the Galactic Kickstarter, because we're very much going towards Legion and Shatterpoint and some the new Star Trek game from WizKids that's coming out, and very much trying to get into like Warhammer and all that stuff. So that's why I'm here to talk about that a little bit.
Well, can we see some of them?
Yeah, sure. So this first thing I'm going to share some pictures here that these are basically the this right here is kind of You could see the corner of the table topper here, and these like see these railings. They got like the space and the blue lines. Those are the galactic railings. And then on the table, you could see some of my sweet terrain for Legion and some Legion units. And underneath that terrain and next to it is these terrain packs that I've designed that are basically they're designed to for Legion, since this is a Legion podcast, for Legion, they're designed mostly to go underneath other terrain to create better borders and boundaries for line of sight and drawing cover and stuff like that.
Super important.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like for instance, you could see this X-wing that's kind of in this circle crater here, and that's kind of like the idea, right? So now we could take that X-wing and say make it area terrain if you wanted to. So we're gonna have, we've got like these. Let me get a better picture. Oh yeah, these are the here's some more pictures, but these are like little road packs that they're going to be in, which is super cool. Let me see if I can find a better picture. But yeah, so there's going to be road packs and rivers and just kind of like taking, your battlegrounds to the next level and kind of enhancing any mats and terrain that you already have by getting these terrain packs to kind of take it up a notch, you know? Yeah, so like see you could see the roads. I think those are probably
Okay.
really good. Yeah, I like the roads and adding that we've got there's these kind of paved roads and then there's going to be like rock oh, here's a good picture of the roads too. So all different roads. This is all neoprene, so it doesn't really slide and it kind of stays on the mat you put on underneath it. And then these like circles. And so all the terrain packs, all the pieces are very like distinct as far as their shape. So, like I said earlier, I think the best use for in Legion particularly is using them for like um for borders and definitive outlines of the terrain. Let me see if I can see something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those look great.
Yeah, and then I'll show you. This is a good picture. I don't know if you guys could see this one. Hold on. Oh my gosh. You would think it would open it in the same window, but it doesn't. There we go.
The joys of Adobe.
Yeah. So this is an example of one of their table toppers. Like I said, you can put them. So this is like two pieces, and there's this little sliding cleat that goes and locks them together, and you can put it on top of another table, or you can get leg kits for it, which is here, and turn it into your own table. And then you can see on top of here is a mat that I designed. I got it's definitely too big of a play area for MCP, but I put MCP on there just to display it. But here's all the like little terrain packs and MCP on top of those, which it actually would work really well for MCP because MCP is a 2D game.
Sure.
So yeah, so you could use it for that. You use it for Warhammer, 40K, fantasy. Like we're gonna have all these cool packs. And then on top of that, the what else is going with these packs and new we've got new mat designs. And then we also have the tables. So there's going to be all these great deals where like if you kickstart at the table level, you could get like a 6x4 table with a couple mats and train packs and we're going to do deals where you can like if you get like four train packs, you get the fifth for free, stuff like that. So I think there's gonna be seven total train packs, and then we'll unlock different like we're gonna give away, we'll have eight pieces in a train pack, and then as we unlock the Kickstarter at the different price points, we'll add more train to those packs. So I think our bottom line is gonna be about 10 for each train pack. You get 10 different pieces. They're gonna match mats that will also be on sale as well in the Kickstarter. And yeah, so that's a lot of that. I can show you this is a cool picture too. Uh,
I have a quick question about those rails. So that's
yeah.
just like attached to the side of any table, basically. Is that how that works?
So no, so basically
Okay.
it go let me you know what? I'm gonna show you a video, Kyle,
Okay.
and you're
Lovely.
gonna
I
be
love
like,
videos.
whoa, a video. And I'm gonna like, yeah, dude, I know. Videos are dope. Hold on.
Hashtag YouTube.
Hashtag videos are dope. Uh
I just learned about hashtags, by the way.
Oh,
Like, wait.
good
Let's
for you.
back this train up. Like, you didn't know about them?
I knew that vaguely that they were a Twitter thing, which Twitter's not a thing anymore, which I also now know.
I mean,
But
Twitter's a thing. It's just a different name.
sure, yeah. But, tw calling it Twitter is incorrect these days, apparently. Anyway,
Yes, that's
um, yeah. In my head, it was just this vague Twitter thing, but I guess it's a thing also on Facebook and like other places too, where you can just use it to, I don't know. I was looking into the mini strav of like daily challenges because they came out with this tweet. Are they still called tweets?
Yeah,
X message?
sure.
I don't
think they're
know.
still called tweets. Yeah.
Okay.
Call whatever you want,
Anyway,
pal.
sure. Yeah. Uh, and they
It's
were
not
like,
like Elon's listening to us and he's going to get
yeah,
mad. It'll be fun.
true. That's true. Um, anyway, they said like, I hope you're preparing your minis for the daily challenges. And I'm like, what are daily challenges? How do you prepare minis for daily challenges when we don't know what they are? But they did post on Facebook and you can apparently hashtag something. But I'm like, I guess I need to get Twitter. And somebody was like, no, you do it on Facebook. So that was news to me. Anyway, prepare your minis for the daily challenges.
That was the story, Kyle.
That
That
was it.
was that
Yeah,
was the
that was the
story.
story of social media incompetence by Kyle.
All right, let me show you this short
There
video.
we go. Okay,
This will
video.
explain everything to you in 19 seconds.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
So, what do you have here? Just a regular dining room table, right?
Yeah.
So, this is how it works.
It just wow, it just hovers for a
It
minute. That's
hovers on
good.
its own. The
Yeah.
mat rolls out by itself.
Uh-huh.
No, so basically, these table toppers, they're three pieces for the 6 foot by 4 foot one,
Uh-huh.
and they go on top of any table, and then you can put the mat inside of it. So basically, if you have a dining room table that, like I think most of us did or do, that
Yep.
just does not fit Legion, you could get one of these game toppers, and you could put it on there.
It's like what we use at your place, Kyle, except now we don't need plywood.
It is not plywood, it is MDF for the
Okay,
record.
whatever.
Wow,
Uh,
this is military grade aluminum. So, no, it's
yeah,
super
that
cheap.
looks
So,
significantly more awesome than my
yeah,
MDF
and I think it's
iteration.
it's a lot of for like any of you out there who have been like, oh, hey, I want to get a game table for my house or whatever, and the price point is massive, right? Like 4 or 5 grand for these gaming tables.
Uh,
The game topper ones, like on the Kickstarter, the 6 foot by 4 foot's going to be like $1,200, and you get a mat with it.
nice.
you know and so, and the cool thing about the 6 foot by 4 foot one, for those of you that watched it on the video and those on audio, it's basically three pieces, right? You have two end pieces in the middle, like leaf, like you would in a dining room
Uh-huh.
table. If you take that middle leaf out and you put the other two ends together, you now have like a 4 by 4. So you can now make it smaller, like if you're gonna go play Shatterpoint or MCP or a 3 by or skirmish, Legion skirmish, that you can do it on a smaller, you don't have to have the whole sections out. And it's nice. The rails have like these cool little areas where you can put cards in them, as well. And they come all with all these like accessories. So you can put cup holders. They have cup holders and like bit holders and all kinds of stuff. So it's like it's a gaming table experience on the cheap.
Is it
And
is
it's
it
really
like
durable.
does it like attach to the table
Yeah,
somehow?
they like slide into
Okay.
the patent pended game toppers rail system,
Uh-huh.
that these cup holders and other accessories slide into and are very stable. And they're planning on doing a whole bunch more of these, like for the rail system. But yeah, so that's the Kickstarter is going to be these tables, which are amazing. But then also there's going to be like mats and Game Toppers is known for doing like crazy deals on mats where they'll like effectively, if you get like the two package, you're getting like the second one for a ridiculously reduced price. And like I said, with like the train packs, if you buy four, you're gonna get the fifth for free, and all this kind of like cool stuff. Let me see. I could show you the two new matte designs that I did as well, which is going to be awesome. But yeah, so the reason I'm talking about this is because yeah, I'm doing doing the design work for the mats, for all the mat packs, the train packs. Also doing, um, I did the on the rail system. There's the space rail system. That is my design as well. So let me get this other one up. But yeah, so basically moving forward, after the 3x3s that we have in stock now on the website, once we've sold through those, our mats from now on are actually going to be through Game Toppers. So that's where I'm going to be designing it. Just they've got the infrastructure and like the ability to get them out, and it was getting real difficult because it was just me here. Uh, but this is the one I'm showing right now on the screen is called the Arid. It's a hybrid desert, a little bit of oasis grass kind of land. I think people like that.
Yeah, looks very neat. Versatile.
And yeah, and then the next new one is this one, which is kind of like a
Hmm.
snow grasslands type of could go either way. So you
Okay.
could use it as like I guess it's kind of like a Naboo grasslands, but with like a little bit of snow on it, to kind of meet some of those middle ground areas. Also, I had retooled if for those of you that had seen our old desert mats that we had, I had retooled the design of that for game toppers. Those will be up as well on the Kickstarter. Our old Genosha mat, which we called our Mars mat, Geonosian mat, sorry, that we called Mars. That I retooled for game toppers as well. So that one will be up. And then we have a battlefield mat that I did. We've got Starfield mats as well for those of you who are still hanging with X-Wing and Armada, no matter what. Um,
Hang in
you know,
there.
I heard there's a lot of community stuff coming out, which is good. So,
X-Wing
um,
seems alive and well.
yeah, yeah. So we got a Starfield mat and a bunch of other mats and all those train packs. And actually, I did the train packs. I did neoprene space train as well. So there's like space junk and like clouds and nebulas and planets and moons and stuff. So for Armada and the new Star Trek game coming out and X-Wing and all that. So yeah.
Awesome. That's all very exciting.
Yeah, so July 23rd is the kickoff of the Kickstarter. I'll put the link to the like notify me Kickstarter page or whatever in the description of both the audio and the in the YouTube cast. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. Game Toppers is a great company, so I really hope that you guys get on there. If you want mats designed by Jay, that's the way to get them from now on. So support the Kickstarter, and if every one of you who's listening and watching right now kickstarts this, it'll make me look really good and we'll be able to do more mats in the future and sidebars and all kinds of stuff. So make me look good. Go go buy everything. I just coughed. Sorry.
Well done. Well done.
Hold on.
He's just so excited.
I'm so oh God, can't even breathe. Yeah, no, it's yeah, go support it. Support me, support Mother Fifth Trooper. And yeah, let's do this.
Awesome.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta really get this nailed down. I'm gonna be on Krabic later this week, so I really gotta nail down my approach.
Well,
So come see me on Krabic.
the big
There you go.
times.
Yeah, the big
Yeah.
times.
Ah, it's good.
All right. Well, let's hear your takes, Jay. I want to hear what you think they're going to
Okay.
announce at Mini Stravaganza. And we don't have to necessarily limit this to Legion. I know you're a multidisciplinary
Mm,
Renaissance man who also plays MCP. So,
yeah.
I want to hear what you think they're gonna give us at Mini Strav.
Okay. All right. Honestly, like I want to say something like great, like they're gonna do this, but really nothing. I don't think we're gonna get anything. I think it's just gonna be all the stuff we already know. and they're
All
just
right,
going to talk about
done
it more.
recording. All right, so we are the Notorious. No,
Yeah. No, no, no. I think
Wow.
listen, at Adepticon, they teased all they kind of just showed the pictures, excuse me, and renderings of um some of the new units, right, that they have in the pipeline for droids and all that, and we'll probably see the new sculpts for Rebels and well, they're not even new sculpts, they're like new units, right, for Rebels and Empire, and see whatever that comes in, whether it's a new starter set, which I think that's what they're going to do. That's what I would do. That's what they did with MCP, right? They came out with a new starter set with all the new sculpts and they basically new cards and all that stuff. And I think that makes sense, right? Like just hit to reset, especially on the Galactic War starter set. Update it. Maybe get some updates for Luke and well, Vader doesn't need it, but maybe Luke and some of the Rebel troopers and stormtroopers and just announce some updates for them and a new starter set and there's their new cards and Bingo bango, you're off to the races. I think the second thing, honestly, we'll see is a rules update, a wholesale rules update. I don't want to call it a 2.0 because technically it would be like a 3.0, but whatever. A wholesale rules update, I think we'll see. Um,
this sounds very much like not nothing, Jay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Word on the
What if
street.
This is the opposite of nothing.
You know what? I'll tell you what the word on the street is, Kyle.
Okay, let's hear
Word
it. I
on the
love hearing the
street,
word on the
the
street.
rumor mill has been churning.
Yep.
And the rumor is that it's increasing in points. That's what I've heard. That it's going to
Yeah.
go up in points. So instead of 800, it would be more units on the table, more bloody battles, which makes sense because I know a lot of people were worried. I was worried at one point that they were going to go like lower in points, but I think that would get too much into Shatterpoints territory, and you don't want to cross those streams. So, that makes sense. Going more points, try to compete with 40K and old world.
Got to
You
make
know,
sure that you can just like tack Bad Batch on to every existing army,
yeah,
Yeah, right.
like just take what you've got, put Bad Batch in it,
yeah,
Hmm.
and
exactly.
you can still play.
But I mean, and I really, I've really liked how they've been doing the units, like as support, like they're really utilizing the different rank types now, which is is contrary to how we've been playing, but I don't think is bad, you know?
Yeah. I think it's you mean like commandos and range troopers as support units.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and even the dark troopers as heavies, right? Like, I mean, we're
Yeah.
utilizing the different ranks to put more minis on the table, and I think that lines up with that points increase, and if it just yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. I'd
More
love to
material
put
on the board is always better, I
yeah,
think. And maybe not always, but I do think that will make games significantly longer. That's like,
Yes.
you know,
100%.
if we're
sure.
increasing points, like
So Kyle, I know you've been out of 40K but what's like the average time for 40K right now?
Uh, so it's been a long time since I've played. I think it was are we in 10th edition now for
Yeah.
40K?
it is in 10th
Yeah.
edition, yeah.
I think I played like right at the very beginning of ninth.
Okay.
And it was about 2.5.
Yeah.
But 40K is very different in that,
Yeah.
it's not alternating activations, right? You do your
Yeah.
whole thing and then your opponent does their whole thing. And that tends to lead to like the late part of the game not really mattering, which is boring in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
What like I'm a former 40K player because I came to Legion because Legion was so much better. So to the extent that we're like, I hope that they're not looking at 40K and being like, let's do it more like that because, I quit 40K so I can play Legion. Um, but yeah, I would say 2 to 2.5 hours, and largely because you just typically like didn't finish
Mm.
because somebody died.
Yeah.
Often in like the first two turns, because
Yeah. And I guess you
so,
you don't want it like that. But I think too, I wonder, because their whole goal has kind of been bridging the in between the competitive and casual
yeah,
and I think competitive games go the full time because of the high level of play and trying to make sure all decisions are important and thought through. But casual games at 800 points tend to go like hour and a half, hour and 45, for the most part. There's outliers, I think. But like if you're just playing, I mean, I know Kyle and Mike, that's not really in your vocabulary of a casual game of Legion,
It's
but
funny you should mention that, given what we talked about last week.
yeah, I half listened to that episode
Okay, all
as I
right, all
edited
right.
it. Obviously, I left the counting in. But like, um, yeah, I mean, I think casual games that I've played have been much faster, and like, even when I'm at tournaments, the games go much faster because I really don't critically think about every decision I make. I just go, yeah, that seems like the right decision, and then just go, right? And so I think if they do up the points from a casual everyman perspective, I think the games will probably be about 2.5, but I think competitive, yeah, they'll have to like adjust. Or maybe they won't, and just be like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's 4 or 5 rounds now instead of 6. I don't know.
I gotta start playing with the casual people you're playing with, because man, when I play a casual game, it is not shorter, it is significantly longer.
That's
Okay.
been my experience too.
Oh, well, all right, hold on. I guess what I'm saying is if it's casual game between two
Like
established
people that know what they're
people
doing.
who know how to play, but there's
Okay,
nothing
sure,
on the
sure.
line, not teaching somebody the
Okay.
game. No, no, no. That's longer. But no, like Evan and I, like if Evan and I just play a casual game of Legion hour and a half.
Sure, 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 sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
definitely can play a game of Legion in that time period. I've had competitive games of Legion where
Yeah.
you're using chess clocks and it finishes in less than 2 hours because you're on it, right? Like it's perfectly possible to
Yeah.
finish a game of Legion that quickly. Um,
So
but
anyways.
yeah,
So yeah, I think a new starter set, I think a rules update. I think when I say that, I wonder how much of the rules they're actually going to change. Um, I think a points increase, an update of how maybe some upgrades are used, and then like cleaning up. Because really, if we're being honest, right, it's been bolted together by like 5 or 6 different developers over the course of Legion, have been just bolting on rules onto this system. And if they just instead not erase it, but just wholesale clean everything up so that it all makes sense, and things just line up like armor,
I
made
would love to
sense.
see them like clean it up and plug the holes. And
Yeah.
I feel like with the forms and everything, it's gotten very bloated.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know what the solution to that is, but it definitely could use some cleanup. So
But
hopefully that's in the cards as well.
I don't think the stuff that's been coming out has been terrible. Like I think it's been pretty good overall, and
Oh, it's
and
certainly been very good.
yeah. And so I mean, yeah. Sure. The commandos are pretty good. But range troopers
Not as good
aren't
as the
half bad.
EXT still though.
Yeah. But yeah, XD's over everything. But I think the rules have been fine. I think things have been coming out, been good. They had a couple stumbles early on, but I think they course corrected. And I know there's a new game developer, and so like there has been for like the past year or so, and so like it seems like things are getting going in a good direction. So I would look forward to them doing a rules cleanup and a new starter set. That's what I think is gonna be there. And then probably follow up on all the stuff they announced at Adepticon that we got like the 3D renders of like what were those fish droids or whatever they were. I don't know.
Aqua turrets.
Aqua
Yeah,
droids. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Which
call them.
And crab droids,
and
Yeah,
crab
right?
droids.
Yeah,
I feel
all
like
the water themed droids.
yeah, a
they're
lot of
showing us Gungans. They can't do aqua droids and not do Gungans, right?
I don't
I
know.
wasn't aware those two things were related. Are they
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah. So
Enlighten me. Yeah.
the aqua droids, I believe, are in the like Mon Calamari, the Separatists attack Mon Calamari in the Clone Wars TV series,
I
and
remember that episode. Yeah.
you've got like little mini Admiral Akbar
Yeah.
before he's Admiral Akbar,
Yeah. Yeah.
leading the fight against them. But more importantly, the Gungans come and help them.
Yes, I remember that too. I guess maybe the
Yeah.
aqua droids just like didn't stick in my brain as like this. I just saw them and I'm like, oh, it's like swimming B2s or whatever.
Sure. They're
Okay, so
much
that
larger than that. They're like uh they're like dreadnought sized.
like 40K dreadnought sized.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Oh,
interesting. Wow.
They
All right.
they're gonna be on
I,
some like I feel like the droidecamite bases might be the correct size for them. And they previewed them on a notch base. And they
Okay,
come
so
in
they're going to be
squads of
vehicles,
two.
basically. Yeah,
Maybe I mean I think that it's very possible. I mean they look like
like the
troopers.
spider droids, maybe.
sure, but I think, I mean, rules wise, yeah, I guess you could have a notched base
You could have
trooper
a notch-based trooper,
with,
and
yeah,
they like doing new stuff. So
sure,
that seems to
yeah,
be the thing they've been spouting out about a lot lately on all the interviews and stuff. So
Well, I would hope they would do new stuff. Seems
yeah,
silly
yeah,
not
yeah,
to
no
yeah,
do
doubt.
that.
They
obviously,
just they
yeah,
just seem to be making a point of it. That's
Yeah,
all.
well,
yeah.
good for them.
So yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Um, so yeah, notch base trooper unit. It's probably I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
listen,
emplacement troopers are all notch-based trooper units
Yes,
already.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that already exists.
yeah. I
Um,
would
No, I don't,
love
I
to
don't.
Sword
see.
sword creature troopers, technically.
Yes, yeah, I guess they could be like creature troopers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm down for Gungans. I'd all in on a Gungan army,
Oh, I would too.
but
Heartbeat.
I feel like they're not going to do that.
No, I do think
I
I
feel like it's going to be like what they did with the Genosians.
I really hope that we get the mythical Geonosian battle force that was alluded to last year and has never surfaced.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
do too, as someone that has 6 units of Geonosians.
Yeah, I would like to play them, please.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm honestly, I don't think this is a prediction. This is probably a wish list thing. I'd love to see a brand new faction.
Yeah. No, so what in where you're sitting, like what would that
Yeah.
look like?
It's super interesting. I think it could, I mean, I know they already did, kind of like it'd have to be, I would almost make it like, I know we have mercenaries, but it would almost be like other worlds, like faction where maybe Gungans and Mon Calamari and like these other like fighters, and other could all be on just this one team, but I guess they'd be kind of like mercenaries, but maybe they can't go into other armies. I'd like to see a faction that's just self and contained, not like Shadow Collective that can go into other stuff, but like just like, hey, this is the other worlds faction, Gungans are going to be the first uh uh species that goes into this, and then maybe Naboo fighters are part of that, and then maybe they can add other ones down the road, but they're just their own thing because they weren't really part of the Republic, um though they
Certainly
were.
not super part of the like fighting alongside the clones most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, in that regard, right? So it almost have to be like this other worlds like army or something, that then you could add more in the future and have different planets and different species be part of it that never fought with one side or the other, or fought against one side that the clones never supported, or the separatists weren't really part of. I think that would be super interesting. I'm kind of tired of like Wookiees in like a Wookiee battle force in Gar. It's still restricted by Gar. Like I'd like to. Why wouldn't just have these factions be their own thing?
Sure.
I mean, eventually, if it goes on long enough, there's a reason that 40K has like 25 plus factions,
Yeah.
right? Like a lot of that stuff used to be the same thing. So,
So, anyways, that's a more of a wish list thing. I'd like to see a whole new faction.
Yeah, I mean it seems within the realm of possibility. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really. Uh, I I don't know that I don't see anything like any of my other wish list items like aren't even really possibilities. So it's just like,
Sure, sure.
yeah, you know
What
what I mean?
what do you want to see out of MCP?
Yeah, MCP, I love MCP so much. So one of the big things from Adepticon that they announced was the monsters. So like you can have Dracula and Werewolf
Like
by night
the
and like
Halloween
oh yeah,
stuff.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Swamp Thing like and I'm like, "Oh my God, I would love more of that." Like these like because listen, the superheroes are great. MCP is a great game, and it's so weird. Like I mean, listen, they're good developers. They came from a good game that they developed, and MCP is a great game. And like it's so funny because it's like that line from The Incredibles, that the villain says. He's like, "Hey, when everybody's super, no one is," and that's kind of like what I feel like with MCP because like everything could just get more powerful because that's just how the game works. But yeah,
Um,
yeah. So MCP,
sorry.
I'd love to see more of these like wacky characters be introduced that like, throughout the MCP universe and the monsters are super interesting and I mean, I'm definitely gonna get them because Rachel's such a huge Halloween and like
I was gonna say,
monster.
are you gonna get her to play?
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
Um,
this seems like if there was ever a time.
yeah. It's been about a 50-50 split between people I've asked that think I could do it. Keebler's a hard no. Evan thinks I might be able to do it. So like, I don't know. Like yeah, I'm going to try. I mean, it comes with Dracula's castle and
There you go.
everything,
Yeah.
like train piece. Like I'm going to do my best to get her in. So yeah, I'd love to see more characters. One of the really cool things they're doing now with MCP is doing affiliation packs. So for those of you that don't play MCP, um, MCP basically has affiliations, which are like factions in Legion, and but most MCP is treated like mercenaries that they could go play for anybody. But basically, they've been doing these affiliation packs where they put a bunch of the characters in one pack, and you could just buy the pack and get it. And so I hope they continue doing that with the other affiliations and just getting. I think it's an easy way for guys like if Mike wants to play, he could just get an affiliation pack and he's halfway there to playing really, and then he can just sprinkle whatever characters in after that.
Hey man, I just finished painting my first team.
Yeah,
They're done.
we got him, boys. We
I
got
got
him.
them. I have finished painting them. I posted them in the Discord. I don't know if you saw it yet, but yeah, they're all done. I spent a lot of time on my Sam Wilson cap.
Good.
It was
It's got a lot of details on him.
Yeah.
there was a ton of details on him, and the model just like definitely. I started kind of my team thinking like I'm gonna play like regular cap, and then by the time I was done painting Sam, I was like, nope, this is the centerpiece of this
Uh,
squad. This is what I'm playing.
this
Um,
is the gateway drug to MCP. This is what happens because then what you're going to do is see somebody else will have another model and you'll be like, nope, playing defenders turns out because those look awesome. And then you buy all the defenders and then X-Men come out and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I we'll see if I get anything else MCP related. I have a couple like odds and ends. Like I've got the villains from the core set, and I think I've got Venom because he was like the Adepticon.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
him in the Adepticon box. Um,
Yeah, years
but
ago.
yeah, I definitely would get Black Order. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that Thanos
It's so
Thanos
much fun.
speaks to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Thanos also is really good in Guardians. So if you want to play Guardians Thanos, that's a meta list right there.
That's so strange to me that that's the thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I was basically for those, I'll just quick. I know this
You're
isn't an
good. You're good.
MCP.
We're
No, this
we're
is
we're like
fine.
out of
We're
Legion
Um,
content before Mini
but
Extravaganza hits, so we can go on all the tangents we want.
this
yeah.
is something I'd love to see in Legion, Kyle, is they have different formats of play. So like you could have if you go to an affiliation tournament, you can only play the characters that fall within your affiliation or your faction.
So you couldn't do like the Thanos plus Guardians thing.
That's correct, right?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
Thanos is not generally in Guardians, but Guardians has like Venom, one of the versions of Venom. They have like Cosmic Ghost Rider. They have Beta Ray Bill. So they have other characters that you play.
Yep.
Then the next one, which is the it's kind of the regular tournament style, you could play. You have to be at least 50% affiliated. So when you put characters on the board, if you want to be affiliated with Avengers, you have to have at least 50% of your players that are your characters that are on the board have to be Avengers, but then you can splash anything. So you could have the Avengers with Thanos, you could have the Avengers with Magneto, Rhino, like whatever you want, like anybody. And there's a lot of cool, mixes and matches with that. Like Keebler has been playing Shield, but with like splashing Baron Zemo because he does a lot of cool triggers and stuff. And then they just released this new one called Timeline, which they ban a bunch of characters and they say only these characters are available.
I feel like you
So,
have to do stuff like that in a
yeah,
game like MCP where the volume of things that you can do and use
yeah.
is just like so high.
Yeah, it's cool because the timeline is themed. So timeline is supposed to be like street level heroes. So like no cosmic stuff, no like Hulk, no, none of
No
that stuff.
Hulk.
Well, just in timeline because
Okay.
he's crazy good. Both versions of Hulk are ridiculous. And so but so they're very like very good at keeping up with MCP. I mean, it's their baby, right? So like all the different versions of the tournaments are cool and yeah, I'm sure at Mini Stravaganza they might announce the next year's timeline or whatever because I think this is a timeline's a seasonal thing. So they'll announce the next timeline one which will be really good. Which will probably be like Cosmic or something like that, which would be
Hmm.
super interesting.
Seasons would be great
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know what they would look like in Legion. We definitely don't have enough characters where you can like ban things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of it's definitely a volume question
Yeah. I
where
think season wise, you'd have to do like they're not equipped to do it, but you have to do a whole new like objective condition deployment decks every year or something or they'd have to come out with more
Yeah, yeah,
first
yeah,
and
for sure.
yeah,
then create seasons of
yeah.
them.
There's just not enough right now to do something
No.
like that, which I don't think is inherently a problem.
No.
Um,
I
but
mean, I think it would be interesting and fun, but I think
yeah,
it creates a different problem, which is Legion is a much tougher game to design objectives, conditions, and battlefields for that don't break other things.
Legion is a very tightly wound experience, which is good in my
Yeah,
opinion, in that like, everything you do, there's so much player agency, right? Everything you do has like small things have big impacts, which is good for the actual game on the table, but it also means that it's like, small balance changes have big impacts. Small changes to battle cards have big impacts. So,
Yeah, I definitely think like there's a lot of room to like kind of pump up the jam in regards to like objectives and stuff like that. Like
dude, that song's
we
gonna be stuck in my head all night now.
oh up the jam. Yeah,
Pump it up.
yeah, thanks, Mike.
you're welcome. Um, I've been on the put more ways for people to score in the game in every game every time. I would love to see 3 to 4 times more victory points and ways to score victory points in every game. I think that would be
Yeah.
super interesting and allow for. But I guess what my point being like if you do that, that opens up the space where you can start doing the like when there's not just one way to score victory points in any given game, like that kind of opens that thread up, I think, a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and they've definitely done it a little bit, but I think there's definitely stuff in MCP, not everything, but some things that they could port over to Legion. They'd have to change and modify a little bit, but I definitely think there's gameplay aspects in MCP that they could start bringing over, and or at least just like game theory. and how the game is designed, I think would be interesting, you know.
Yeah, I mean the whole concept of like multiple different objectives, that is a 40K thing, or at least I don't know if it's like official part of the game now, but at least when I was playing, that was like a community
Hmm.
thing. A lot of the tournament formats were basically community run, including the objectives and objective scoring. And it was basically like you had a primary, a secondary, and even tertiary objectives. And there were some that were just sort of like always on. Like you could always score a point or whatever by killing your opponent's commander.
Yeah.
Sure.
You could always score a point by killing an enemy unit that had X number of models in it or whatever. And then there were some objectives that would like rotate based on whatever round of the tournament you were in. Um, so yeah, I think it's an interesting concept of the things to take from 40K. I think that's one of them, again, at least when I uh stopped playing 40K, that was a community generated thing. But still, something that I think would be interesting in Legion to have like maybe you still have your primary objective that's similar to the ones that we have now, but then there's always ways, obviously there are keywords like bounty and secret mission, right? But you could also just have it be like if you kill this type of unit, you get an extra secondary victory point, and maybe that victory point is like half a victory point or something that's not,
Yeah.
necessarily the same as like the primary objective, but it still accrues to your benefit in some way relative to the victory condition. So,
Yeah, I mean, it would even be cool to have like with along those lines, like factions have their own objectives. Like, hey, if you secure this half of the table, like a fantasy did this too. Like, hey, if you have more units on this half of the table or this quadrant of the table, at the end of this round and this round you get X points for that. Stuff like that's interesting. Like, or and then you could start introducing stuff like commanders have a command that like gives them a bonus for doing something and they get an extra victory point or something. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like interesting things that could happen.
Rebel special rule. Pick a unit at the start of the game, it gains secret mission.
Yeah.
Done. Right?
yeah, right.
Like,
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
definitely,
Like, why do only bounty hunters have bounties? Like, you could still get it. I guess you gotta be part of the guild, but like, you could get a bounty puck and call in a bounty, right? And try to get the money.
yeah, man. My commander Cody is looking for targets.
Yeah, and it's still like even if you don't have bounties, it's still strategically useful to your,
Yeah.
war effort or whatever to kill or defeat. Sorry, this is Star Wars to defeat,
Defeat. Yeah.
No one's ever
opposing,
dead here.
right, opposing leaders, right? Like if Luke Skywalker is on the other side of the table, defeating Luke Skywalker is going to be a lot more relevant to your overall Empire war effort than like recovering supplies, you know? So, yeah, I think it'd be totally fine to have extra ways that are just kind of built in that you can score victory points that maybe aren't worth quite as much as like the primary objective is, but if you do enough of those things, it can act as like a functional tiebreaker or something like that.
Mm.
So,
Okay. Crazy. Not gonna happen. Hot take of something I want to happen.
okay.
Okay. They're not gonna do this,
It's a
but
safe space, Jay.
I want them to announce whether it's a new version of Legion or another game, but a larger format where you can have like AT-ATs and like X-Wings coming in and TIE fighter like or TIE
Like Epic,
interceptors. Yeah, like
basically.
epic battles. But scale everything down so
Yeah,
it's still on
yes.
like a six by
Right.
four. You're not going in a bigger space. You're still at a six by four, but now I can have big stuff.
Yeah,
I I
Epic
don't
40K was a thing.
it
Where they
was.
scaled it down and you'd have Titans that were like this big.
Well, they've got a new version of it that is they just came out with. It's for Horus Heresy. It's like I forget what the name of it is.
Okay.
But I see it in the store all the time.
But it's got like Titans that are like this big or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
the
I
infantry
know
are
what you're
like
talking
in
about.
little
Yeah.
little like platoons and stuff that are,
Right.
Yeah.
like
Yep.
they're like an entire squad is like as big as your like brush tip, like
Yep.
it's great. Um
I don't know if I want to go that small, but
I actually think that I don't think that's out of the question for Legion, particularly if points are going up. I actually think that that is far closer to possible reality than you might think.
that would be great. Like
Yeah.
imagine points go up. Like let's say there's like 1,600 points and you can get an AT-18. It's 800 points. I would put that on the table all day long.
Yeah. And people would buy that too.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you
would
know,
buy five of them, just like my ATSTs. I would just keep buying them.
like people would be all over like a, I don't know, X-Wings on flight stand. Like people would buy that crap right up.
Yeah, I think the problem is scale, right? Like you'd have to do something weird because basically you have to get one of those like Kenner toy AT-AT toys to be at the right scale.
But
But
like,
you can monkey with the scale a little bit so that it.
yeah, I mean, like realistically, like don't get me wrong, the air speeders are like small, but like X-Wings probably wouldn't be that much bigger than the Lat.
Yeah.
They'd just be wider instead of longer, right? Um,
Yeah, their wings would stick out more, but
yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
probably put them on like the same size base.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I also think like I don't know, like 40K has flyers
yeah.
that are basically X-Wings, you
Oh,
know. Um, yeah, I don't think it's crazy. I think it'd be really cool.
thanks.
Um,
I'm not crazy, everybody. See, Mike said it.
I mean, you could
All
even
fine.
going back to I don't know if Flames of War still works this way, but I used to play Flames of War, and they had flyers where like they didn't stay on the table, but they would basically make like attack runs every turn. And that would make more sense for like a faster moving air support flyer like a TIE fighter or an
Yeah.
X-Wing versus something that's a little slower like you know, the repulsors that we have in the game currently. And you could still sell the model, right? And you put the model on the table when you're doing your attack run thing, and it has to come from a certain direction or a different direction than it came from before. And it was basically like something that you could only shoot down like when it was attacking, and then just made an attack every turn, basically. It's like a strafing run. So I think that'd be a neat concept.
so
Yeah.
here's the question. If we did all of this, do we have to rewrite Veers's one pip so that it actually was like good, you know? It
It used to be good, Mike. It used to
did.
be.
It did.
I think he's still arguably good, or at least
Yeah,
not bad.
sorry. I mean, like obviously an AT. That's supposed to be like an AT-AT
The
blast,
the
right?
bombardment, the
Yeah,
bombardment is lame. Yeah.
yeah,
When it
yeah.
first came out, that was like
Oh, it was
that
real
was a
good.
legit, yeah.
But you took out snipers.
It got watered down.
Yeah.
I take out a lot of things with that, or just like do reasonable damage to something.
Yeah.
Back in the day when it was like a huge deal to do 2 to 3 wounds to something in a given attack. That was, it felt like an AT-AT shot, but now it's just like, oh, okay. I guess this is just a commando sniper volley.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Actually worse because the commandos have lethal.
oh, dude,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like every time, like you got to go back and make changes to things because every time you come out with a new unit like this, it's like, okay, so they can do that, but an ATST barely puts any damage into anyone now because of how cover and everything works, and you're just going, or like, oh, you're telling me a commando squad would not feel some like damage from an ATST. That's like things have gotten out of whack as far
I'm
as
sorry. They've got that sweet
vehicles.
guitar armor, Jay.
Guitar and armor.
They're
They could get hit by a moon, Jay, and they
uh
would still only lose one model. Chewie should have been wearing Katarn armor. Sorry, that was an EU reference. Um,
But it's
but yeah,
a tough listen. Game development's not easy. I don't envy them at all for having to do what they have to do, but come on, man. Let's get some of this fixed.
yep.
I would love to see a new card pack. Like they just did it for even a print and play, like they just
Yeah,
did for
some neutral
MCP.
upgrades or something. Like
I
we
mean,
haven't had a neutral upgrade since
yeah,
Shadow Collective release, which was 3 years ago. at this
Well,
point.
even like just update all the units. Like they just did this
Yeah.
with MCP. They just went through and like all the older units that were kind of like they just did print and play cards, and everyone's fine. Everyone loves it. It's the best thing. They're like, yeah, all right, I'll just print that off and use it. Why not?
Hey, we're handing infiltrate out like candy. Just give it to every rebel trooper unit. At this
Yeah.
point, go for it.
Just make the entire just make that their faction rule. Every rebel unit can infiltrate.
Huh. Wouldn't really be that big of a deal.
I don't know. If Luke Skywalker can infiltrate, you might be a
A
big
bunch of
deal.
infiltrating Wookiees and stuff. Like,
Uh,
um, yeah,
Would
I don't
be
know about
great.
that. I think you could definitely add to the roster of rebel units that could infiltrate, but I definitely wouldn't be like every single one.
But yeah,
Or maybe a card where you can infiltrate like one unit that wouldn't normally get it, you know. I don't know.
or like do more
Like
command
scouting party.
cards, right? You do
Yeah.
command cards that more generic rebel command cards, and one of them pick 3 units they get to infiltrate this turn.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I wonder who came up with that idea, Mike.
hey, let's not even go
Um,
there.
hey, hey, call back.
Some people come up with lots of things.
Uh,
Yeah.
no, anyways, I mean, listen, the problem is you with any of these things, with mini extravaganza, with Adepticon, with you always want to shoot the moon and be like, they're gonna do something wild, and then it's just like, it's fine, and I think that's what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be fine. Like they're gonna spend most of their time playing and painting and stuff we don't care about, and then
They're
they'll
definitely
spend.
hyping it to be much more than a nothing burger.
eh,
That's for sure.
okay,
I mean, you may be right in that the hype will be a nothing burger, but that would be unfortunate, I think.
I mean they've got I don't know, you know
I,
I want something,
yeah.
but my expectations are I wouldn't say low, they're medium.
Medium.
I think
Yeah,
it's
well,
also possible too. We get previewed something that is not a nothing burger, but we get drip fed it basically.
that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like because this is what they do. This is what they did. DepCon. This is what they did last mini extravaganza. Like, wait until the next big show because we're gonna have this, and then you get in, you're like, yeah, it was fine.
No, no,
Generations are
no.
all right. They're all right.
No, Geonosians are bad. The models are great. Geonosians are bad.
I
They're
think
Yeah.
one is good in a droid unit.
screws with your order control.
Yeah,
It's pretty terrible
And
in traditional droid. That's
it is not desirable.
you're
Yeah.
yeah.
terrible traditionally, Mike.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah,
Hey, EXD doesn't have perfect order control typically.
and that's
Yeah,
the best list out there.
that is
I'm just saying
a
it's not like a prerequisite, but you're right. If you're running like a normal trade list, that's something that you want to be
Yeah.
trying for at least.
yeah.
Well, it used to be. Things change.
Sure.
Things do
Yeah,
change.
I could see it. But they die very easily.
They die to anything. Doesn't matter what it is. They just
Yeah.
instantly
They
die.
get sneezed on. Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah. I
Defeated.
mean, that's the same reason why rebel troopers aren't really around anymore.
Yeah, although they can at least like
They
you're
have
right. That
some,
is another
yeah,
terrible unit.
yeah.
So
Yes.
yep.
Rebel troopers at least want to play like back.
Farther away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Where Geonosians are like, please send me like a missile.
They have the same problem as fleets. It's a assault unit with no durability whatsoever. Yeah.
So they
All
should have
right.
had like they needed like a card or like where they could like go into the caves and then like pop up behind the enemy or something.
No,
That
no,
would,
no, no, no. Even better than that.
all
Even
right.
better than that. They needed a command card that was like you like them all flapping their wings really hard and stirring the dust up, and it just makes it limited viz for that turn.
Oh, I like
There
that.
you go. Yeah.
If you
On demand
have
when it is.
4 or more of these units on the board. Play this card to create limited viz for the next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be a Poggle card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm excited. I'm excited for Mini Stravaganza. I know that we just talked about it potentially being a nothing burger, but I
I
don't
don't think it
think
will
it's
be.
gonna be a nothing burger. I
Yeah.
think this is gonna be big hype. I think it's gonna be um, I mean, even if it is a nothing burger and they change the points of the game, that is basically a whole new game.
It is.
Yeah.
Because everything we know basically would go out the window. Not completely, but the idea of like things being good at 800 versus 500 is radically different, right?
Yep.
Um, so you know,
Yeah.
it would be a new game at that point.
I,
Anything on top of that would be additionally kind of not nothing burger, but yeah,
well,
I'm excited.
and for the five people who have made it this far into the podcast, I'd like to say I I don't want it to be a nothing burger. Just I'm so hyped that something's gonna come that I feel like I'm being taken advantage of and nothing's gonna and I'm just gonna feel let down again. I just don't want to be let down again.
Even if it's a lot, it will still be less than you expect.
Yeah, probably. But
Okay.
you know what won't be a letdown is this Kickstarter I'm doing. The
All
23rd. 23rd
right.
on Kickstarter. Game Toppers. Go get it. Get your train packs and get your mat. Come on, Morty.
Will
We're gonna get it all.
will you be posting the link in the description
Yeah.
below? Okay,
Awesome.
I think I
sweet.
said that. Didn't I say that out loud?
I have no idea, but I
Yeah.
just figured we
Mike
should see
zoned
it.
out through that whole Kickstarter talk. He was like,
Definitely possible. Definitely possible.
he was like, oh, Jay's here to talk about something. Great. I'm gonna just go.
All right.
We
July
just
23rd.
All right.
Uh,
I love you, buddy.
Love you too, pal. I knew I was giving you guys a break for the first half. I knew what I was doing.
Hey, I am actually genuinely excited about some of that stuff, especially the little terrain mats, because I know that there are a lot of places that just use like felt and stuff like that
Oh
for
yeah.
that purpose. And those are a mat not only extremely flexible for that purpose, but a massive upgrade over that sort of thing. So,
Well, here we are.
yep.
I
All
did
right.
it.
You did it. All right. Well, everybody enjoy Mini Strav, whether it's a nothing burger or not. I'm gonna try and figure out how to submit stuff for those daily challenge thingies. I think one of the categories was OSL, so I definitely have some minis that can meet that requirement.
Oh, is this like a
Um,
painting thing? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
yeah, which, if they do it similar to their Galactic Conquest rules, they'll just take everybody that submitted and then do like a raffle. Um,
Put everybody in a hat and just draw at random. Maybe they'll
yeah,
even do it on the stream and they'll do it like it'll be like bingo or the Powerball,
yeah, there you go. All right. I think that they will probably, I don't know. I'm sure they'll have some process that is not a raffle, but
Are you
um,
sure?
no, I guess I'm not. I don't know anymore. I
That's
don't
the
know anything
problem,
anymore.
right? That's the problem with mini extravaganza as a whole, is we have no idea.
Yep.
It's
All
either
right.
going to be the greatest or the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
I think that's unlikely on both
It's
accounts.
Schrodinger's mini extravaganza.
All right. On that note,
A
we are the
Legion,
Notorious
Legion's live
Scoundrels.
and well, or Legion's dead. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
No in between.
All right.
What
We are the
what does that make
Notorious.
X-Wing or Armada?
Zombies.
Alive. Yeah. What's the quote from Princess Bride? Only mostly dead.
Yeah.
Okay. We are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Stay cool, fruit mat.
There it is.